So what happens when you learn that Sam and Bata are at the bottom of the boat together in the hidey spaces?
What? What are you insinuating?
No, I'm asking the player.
Well,
I expect Sam to come back up from the boat and go like, "Hey, I was in the bottom of the boat with Bata. What do you think of that, dude?
God.
We were doing nothing. Like, it's.
I mean, we weren't making out, but, you know,
I mean, no, God.
in case you were worried.
We have to keep doing the
Okay, so have we left yet?
sitcom trope.
Oh, yes, the boat is leaving. Our adventurers, having fled bravely from Pensacola,
Arden interjects, fled?
fled, now find themselves with much time and little to do on the ocean as they travel to their next destination. The fear of water spiders ever in their peripherals.
Mostly in Sam's.
I was not aware that I was in imminent danger at all points in time.
Also, who are you talking to, Arden?
Myself, because I've been suddenly stricken with a misplaced sense of terror. Well, okay, so the question begs again, which of you guys would like to start?
Therrin can't hear the question. She is balancing on the front of the ship.
She's perched.
Miss Arden, do you want me to go first with you into our private cabin?
Our private cabin?
It's the group's private cabin, right?
Yeah. So
You just want me in there with you?
yeah,
Nobody else? Huh? I'm okay with this.
I'm gonna grab my things first. Saz is gonna rush in and out.
Oh, don't worry, Sauce. I'm sure it's nothing.
Yes. Here, come over here and take a seat, please, Mr. Bata.
Okay, Bata, do you want me to close the door behind me or anything like that? I guess if you want, I guess it's fine.
No, please close the door. I don't want us to be interrupted.
Don't forget to open the window.
Bata's suddenly concerned as to what this is now, for sure. 'Cause he had one thing in mind of an interview, and now it's a different story.
Sorry. Yes, I just wanted to talk to you about everything that's happened so far and your views on things, just for the records, because this is a very different experience than I was expecting, and I figure a good record of everything coming up that has happened, and I guess the first question for you, Mr. Bata, would be, could you give me your full name?
Did you hit yourself in the head, Mr. Renshaw? I guess we're gonna be a little more formal then.
Yes, please, sir.
My name is Bata Amika, Mr. Renshaw.
Do you have any sort of aliases or titles associated with your clan?
Well, it would just be the Amika name would be the associated title. But beyond that, that's it.
Oh, you're all Amikas?
In my group, yes.
Oh, but not like a family.
No.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. And I guess to start, how is the trip so far for you? I remember last time we were on a boat in the swamp, you had a bad time. And, we're safely in a ship and we're not sinking physically or nautically.
I recall that boat in the swamp was more of a platform than a boat. So we're in a much safer condition as it is right now. But, each voyage has its own set of dangers, and I am nervous, but I'm more excited to see what travels will bring about.
Okay, so nothing too scary or dangerous?
Oh, no, nothing like that. Nothing to be... I mean, sure, there's a little bit of fear, but I'm more excited than anything.
Okay. Moving on. We only met you in a tavern just by pure happenstance before. What was everything like before you ran into us? I mean, you've been pretty close to the cuff on what exactly happened before or where you were and such. You just appeared in a random tavern at the right time.
Are you asking me what I was doing before the tavern? Just
Yeah,
was-
yeah, like in the outside world.
Well, that was my first stop after leaving Bismutum.
Oh, was it?
It was pretty close to the wall, wasn't it?
Yeah, that is kind of a good point.
I had not traveled far, no.
No. Well, what was life like back in Bismutum then?
It was pretty normal, pretty average. I was herding boogaloos and just making sure they were safe. Kind of decided to just explore a little bit more outside.
Okay, interesting.
Nervous, sweating.
Arden arcs a brow. What was it that made the outside world so tempting, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, about 2 years ago, I met a wonderful outsider who showed me all the wonders from the world, and just a few.
Like what?
It just got me curious. Like all these wonderful food and meats and whatnot. Sorry, my stomach I must be hungry or something.
So you left Bismutum for the cuisine.
A part of it, yes.
Okay. Arden kind of narrows his eyes slightly at Bata for a moment. Then I guess the next question would be, after the tavern, we wound up at Mama Nom's for kind of an extended stay due to some mishap. We'll call it.
I mean Therrin. It's okay. You can name Therrin and it's fine.
I'm trying to be nicer to Therrin. In fact, I'll even write that down.
Trying to be nicer to Therrin. I can appreciate that.
Yes. Apart from stealing my bath,
Stealing your bath. I thought we were sharing a bath, Mr. Arden.
that was offered to me by Mama Nom's, and you clearly stole it from me. And the sharing was a necessary compromise.
I promise I will not steal a future bath from you then.
Yes, I completely believe that.
What?
But anyway, while you're at Mama Nom's, you seem to pretty much make yourself a part of the family almost instantly. Was that similar to what it was in like Bismutum? Because I've never been in a family of 13, 14 people.
All the little rascals? Yeah, we had families about that size. Not necessarily all in the same family, but just houses and dwellings that had that many people in them.
Arden's eyes widened briefly.
What's wrong?
Nothing. That was just a very raucous house. It was very difficult to get peace and quiet.
You learned to just find it outside.
Yes. I thought about going outside, but you guys seem to have a very unfortunate series of events every time you step foot outside.
Well, the wilds would seem to be a little less tamed out here than they are back home, so.
No, that's fair. It's just between Therrin poisoning herself and the weird monster and the centipede and everything else. But you seem to have a good time at least. And I suppose that's a plus because not everybody necessarily had the best time there, especially getting a child thrown in your lap unexpectedly.
Oh, Zaus is wonderful.
He is a good child. They are a good child, rather. But I was not prepared for any sort of parenthood or mentoring. I am a research student, and that is not part of the curriculum.
Oh, this is far from parenthood, but we'll be fine together. I mean, I'm sure we can handle Zaus just fine.
Together?
As a group.
Yeah, right. Of course. Moving on.
I mean, Therrin's being a good teacher. Sam's teaching him how to read and write, and
Therrin's teaching him how to be a criminal.
I mean, you have to at least have some street smarts, apparently, as I have learned.
Arden wonders if she's fallen off the bow yet.
Therrin looks great on the bow. She's posing, wind blowing in her hair. She looks amazing.
And with the window to your chamber open, you also enjoy this majestic breeze across your fur. Whoosh.
Oh, it's mighty chilly in here.
Yeah, I'm gonna just close the window a little bit there. Anyway, so I don't have a firm grasp on your faith as a person from Bismutum. Most of our records are pretty spotty, apart from some subpar adventure novels. My father would read to me when I was younger The Adventures of Gragnar, and he was the brave barbarian of the Bismutum wasteland, and his sorceress sidekick, who used her feminine wiles and sorcery, of the spire to overcome various monsters and creatures that would roam the wilds out there. And that's really all that I have to go on other than very fragmented details.
Oh, those all sound like wonderful stories. I want to read them.
Well, if I encounter any in Roqueport, I will spend some copper on you and get you a copy. They are probably offensive to you. But from what I do understand, you do hold everything with the Spire in very high reverence. And I was curious what you were thought about the whole situation with the Umbra.
With the Umbra, they certainly came off as a surprise to me. Our stories the elders tell are much less kind than the depictions as to what happens to people when they steal dragon's tears. Let alone to have one of them speak to us was different. Not what I expected at all.
Well, how did you feel about it? Was it scary? Was it interesting? Were you angry?
I was definitely scared the first time back in the wagon, but now it's pleasant. It's a pleasant surprise.
Okay.
I mean, how angry would you be if somebody stole the treasure that you're protecting?
Nobody has yet to do that successfully, so hopefully we won't have to come to that conflict. As far as I know, the Umbra only exists because the dragon's tear was stolen and whatnot, but I guess we have at least a tenuous agreement with him, which I am very cautious about, but I have a feeling it could work out if we play our cards right, and we don't end up with any betrayals.
I believe the Umbra does not have any ill intention with us, so long as we perform our duties that we have set out.
Yes, I believe so too. And on the topic of the Umbra, that does bring me to my next question. Something that I was actually surprised that you were not violently upset over. Not that I really think that's quite possible. But what about Therrin having the dragon's tear that she took from Roqueport?
Well, I was angry at first, but after spending some time with Therrin, I do believe her actions were misguided at the time, but if she wishes to change her behavior and correct her wrongdoings, then I'm more than happy to help her out.
So you're at least willing to help her correct her mistake?
Oh, very much so, yes.
Okay, and there's no ill will between you and Therrin over that?
She came to this conclusion of fixing this problem herself, so with a little coercion from the Umbra mainly, but and you. But she wishes to do well, so I will help her out through this.
And I guess also on the dragon's tear, since I tried to communicate with it, it seemed very upset about it. But you had mentioned that you can commune with them somehow. Do you know much about communicating with the dragon's tear?
So we communicate with the Whisper Stones, not the dragon's tear itself. I guess you guys call them shards.
Oh, a piece of a dragon's tear.
Correct.
Ah.
I would not commune with an entire tear, as a shard already contains several souls from previous lifetimes, so I can't imagine how much a tear would have.
Oh. So what I did was potentially dangerous, not necessarily incorrect.
Exactly.
Ah, okay. I'll remember that for the future then.
I am happy you're okay.
I am too, now that I know that I could have killed myself.
Well, the souls within will not speak to you unless if they are willing to, so perhaps only a small fraction of them wanted to commune with you at the time.
Okay. Well, perhaps that'll be a project to work on if I can get some time to speak with it before we return it.
I cannot assist you with that task, however.
Is it difficult to learn?
Correct. I have no knowledge on how to teach you how to do this. Attunement it requires skills beyond my capabilities.
Okay. Arden frowns a little bit at his notes. I can figure it out. I mean, detect thoughts seem to be a good means of starting that, and I'll just have to find something a little less forceful.
If you wish to borrow my stone, you can for a slightly less dangerous.
Yeah, if you don't mind. I figured that was a pretty important personal item for you. But the next thing that I wanted for the notes is the festival.
As Bata squirms.
You, Arden, kind of shifts uncomfortably in his seat a little bit too. You gave me a necklace of leaves. I forget the word for it.
It's all right. It's an ambrity.
An ambrity. Yeah, you said that it was something important that you give to somebody you care about, but didn't really talk about it much past that. What does that mean to your...
Oh, it's just during one of our festivals, it's a sign of loyalty and trust of judgment in someone. It's to show that I appreciate your company.
Oh, well, thank you. Not many people do that, and I guess it sounds overly sentimental, but you and Therrin and Sam and Zaus and everybody have been probably the best company I've had in my entire life. So, yeah, yes.
Perhaps I should have provided one for Sam as well.
What?
An amber.
For Sam? I mean, and anyway, moving on. So the festival, we didn't know what Munis was doing till after we left the festival. How do you feel about our involvement in what he did?
Providing him with the tools to set an entire festival on fire and kill countless of lives. It's a big price to pay for my lesson in being a naive person, but perhaps I just got too comfortable with strangers.
Yeah, he was not a great person. Still is not a great person. A worse person. I admittedly saw all of the signs but didn't realize anything until it was far too late, and I do feel some guilt over not acting in time.
No, I guess perhaps it was a lesson that we both had to learn.
Yeah. I will persevere to not let that sort of thing happen again, and keep an eye out for you guys to make sure that we don't fall into any other traps like that, because I felt simply awful letting that happen to you all, and I do not wish to ever have you or anyone else ever suffer like that.
No, perhaps making a better judgment of people will definitely be in my future for sure.
I will do my best to trust people even less.
Mr. Renshaw. Arden, Mama Noms was a wonderful person, and we have met other wonderful people as well.
That's true. I just don't want any harm to fall upon you.
Arden.
Us.
Oh.
Us. Anyway, yeah, moving on. So after we left the festival, we went straight to the spire, and I'd never seen the inside of an active spire before, and it was a very strange experience. Have you been inside of an active spire before?
I have not, no.
Oh, is that like forbidden territory for your people?
It's not necessarily forbidden, but we'd have no reasons to go in there.
Oh, interesting. I figured if you guys communed with all that stuff so closely that you would be allowed on your holy ground, I suppose?
Well, the Guardians do entrust us with protecting them and them protecting us. We do keep a barrier between us.
Do you think we did anything wrong by going in there?
We succeeded in the trials that the Dragons 2 provided us, and the Guardian inside was more than helpful. I don't believe we did anything wrong.
Okay. You didn't seem terribly vocal at the time, and I wasn't sure if we were doing something sacrilegious.
The Tooth knew our intentions, so
Okay.
if our intentions were ill, we would have maybe not come out so safely.
Oh, good. I'm glad we didn't do anything to offend you, and that we were apparently doing the right thing.
No, it was amazing. I liked going in there. I enjoyed myself. I was just a little amazed.
Okay. That's fair. That is, well, certainly an experience like any other. While I hope that we never have to do it again, I feel like we've made a lot of missteps against you, and you don't seem to vocalize them very often.
I don't expect people from outside Bismutum to fully respect what we do, but that's understandable.
It would appear the latch on the window is weak and slippery.
Bata goes, what? Why?
And the breeze once again enters the room.
Are you chilly? Are you cold?
A little bit.
You want me to close the
I'm not
window?
used to the sea air yet.
Should I just close the window then?
The latch seems a little poorly made.
Bata steps over towards the window and looks outside for a brief moment.
Bata, please make a spot check.
Big water.
Big water.
Bata sees big water. Fortunately, there does not appear to be any water spiders or pirates out and about.
Why? Why is everything filled with death?
Concern rising.
Misplaced sense of terror once again surges in my chest.
Bata just closes the window and shrugs.
Getting back to it, the next thing I wanted to ask you about was the funeral after we had gotten away from the massacre at the spire. I know that Therrin and I don't get along that well, but I know I shouldn't be apologizing to you, but I am sorry that I was so harsh at the time.
Bata gives an inquisitive look.
Well, we both lost somebody that we loved, and there was a lot of emotions, and I'm sorry that I was so angry, I guess. I do apologize if I upset you at all or made you angry for having to step in like that.
Arden, it's fine. I mean, emotions were high. We were all very tired and stressed out. We had just seen horrible things. Just have to remind that we're all in this together, and we just have been helping each other out every time.
Yeah, I know, and I understand. I try to keep a better control on those sort of things, and I lost it.
Therrin wasn't helping out, I know, but I realized the situation was not exactly ideal for her, and emotions and can run wild, so it's fine. It's a natural reaction that you had.
Okay, well, thank you. That means a lot.
Do you have any more things you want to ask me?
Well, no, that answers most of my questions. It covers most of the series of events that have occurred so far. Unless you have anything else you want to add to the notes, I guess you're free to go.
I'm curious about your future, though. What?
Mine?
Yes.
How so?
Well, you mentioned that you were working on a book. Is that still... Have you learned much to put in there? And
most of my research I was sending to the Order, as I did shortly before we left town. But in finding out some truths about the Order, I don't believe my place is with them any longer. I think I should write everything down because I don't think my research is going to make it into the archives. I need some sort of record of everything that's happened here that I can keep and ensure that it will exist after I'm gone.
do you still trust the Order?
The only person I think I could really trust anymore is, well, sort of dead. I don't know. Those two that we met on the road, they might be trustworthy, but I don't know where they're going or where to even find them after this, but I'll figure something out.
I'm sure there are others who are just as concerned as you are back home.
I really hope so, and I do hope to go back there someday. I don't know if I will be welcomed back or exiled for finding something I wasn't supposed to. I mean, Sam's got a spear that belonged to one of the founders who was probably killed in the spire by somebody, and that's a lie. So much has happened, and I don't know. If I don't go back to the Order, I don't know where I'd go. I hear Bismuth's a nice area, but
Arden, though, why would you want to go back up there?
Well, it's nicer. The people are nicer from my experience. And I could live in peace with the Spire. I could potentially use my knowledge and skills to help your people.
If that's where you wish to go, I can help you out.
How would I get through the gate?
Bata just looks inquisitively at Arden and just, I can get you through the gate, it's fine.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, Well, we'll see how everything in Roqueport goes. We need to resolve things before we can determine what to do next because, if I'm going to be honest, I may not make it out alive.
You'll be fine. Therrin and Sam will help us through, especially Therrin. She knows the area.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Oh, y'all have a conversation with her.
Yeah, I think I'll probably want to talk to her soon, too. She's probably got a lot to unload about what's happened and what's coming up.
You want me to get her for you?
Yes, actually, if you don't mind.
Very well. And Bata leaves the room. Looking longingly back at Arden.
Therrin, please make a balance check.
Therrin rolls a 15.
Majestic. Much unlike the locking mechanism on this window.
Bata walks in and just clap, 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 clap. Amazing.
And I'm still standing on the bow. It's dawn, and the sun is shining through my awesome mane.
Bald spot still?
No, did it grow?
Oh, she said through.
We'll be talking about that.
And Therrin is being praised.
I'm being praised. By who?
Therrin, you look so stunning in the light.
I know.
Did you do something to your mane?
No, this is just my mane.
Ah, natural. Perfect. Oh, I believe Mr. Renshaw would like to have a word with you. Don't sigh and
What was that about?
Mr. Renshaw would just like to converse with you about the future that we have together.
Oh,
About going to Roqueport.
okay. What did he talk to you about? Like, are we changing the plans? Like, I don't understand.
No, he just wants to clarify things.
Therrin looks around. Okay.
Therrin, do you need me to tell you where it is? Where the room is?
Yes. Tell me where the room is. What hallway?
Down the hall and to the left. If you get to the kitchens, you've gone too far.
Therrin winks at Bata and...
And where's Zaus, anyways? Were you keeping an eye on him?
No, I was not.
I'm gonna go try to find Zaus.
Yeah, he's probably going to ask me how many crimes I've done, so... All right. All right, I'll go talk to him, I guess. All right. How would Therrin open the door? See? Just kicks it in. Just
Yeah, she kicks in every door every time.
kicks it in.
The games.
Okay. Therrin slowly opens the door, like kind of creaks probably.
Very, very undramatically.
Yes.
Therrin?
Yeah. Bata said you needed to replan something. I kind of wasn't listening.
Yeah, I was trying to document some of the things that have happened in this adventure. I use the term loosely. I wanted a record of everything that's been going on, and I figure we should sit down and talk about things that have happened.
Oh, okay. Like at these two chairs here?
Well, we could put them out on the deck if you want, or put them out in the hallway, but I don't think we'd get much privacy.
Oh, okay. Well, these are fine.
Okay.
Theron plops down and crosses her legs and crosses her arms.
Thank you for taking the time, I guess. You seemed fairly busy.
We're on a boat. There's only so many places I can balance.
That's a valid statement. I was mostly just figuring that you seem to be somewhat at home on a ship. I assumed that you had some sort of sailing experience.
Well, if you want to sack a ship, you better know how to sail one.
What?
Yes, I know how to sail a ship.
Arden shifts uncomfortably in this chair and rifles through his notes. Sack a ship. Have you raided a nautical vessel in the past?
Like, are you asking me how many?
No, but that does answer my question, because I assume it's more than 0.
Indubitably.
That is good to know. Your record is actually a little spotty due to your family's involvement. Before I left Roqueport to pursue you after you ruined my research project by sitting the dragon's chair, I did some brief research on you with the city guard. Turns out they'll just give you anything for a little bit of gold. It's kind of disappointing, honestly. But let's see. I've written down here. we had 12 counts of vandalism, 3 counts of assault, 7 counts of larceny, and an unlawful use of cheese in a legal proceeding expunged from your record by the Perch Family Trust Fund. Is it more than just sacking ships?
Like, do you want a number, or like I'm not understanding?
What did you do? Most of the public record for you has you as the veritable princess of the Perch family fortune, and you are very much not with your criminal record.
I'd much rather be that Therrin than the Princess Therrin. So I will take all of those things you found. That's me, not Princess Therrin.
Okay, well, if it's anything like your sister, then that's probably the more acceptable form for you, because she was quite unpleasant, but we'll get to that in a bit. Though, before we move on, I am curious about this one thing. Unlawful use of a cheese in a legal proceeding?
As in my profession, she smirks when she says that. One has to be creative, and I'll just say the fact that they think the cheese was integral to that scheme is, I guess, all part of my plan, is all I can really say.
Arden frowns.
Therrin smiles.
Anyway, after I followed you to the north and we ran into each other in the bar, we moved on to Mom and Om's farm for a bit, and you had a bad time there. What exactly happened?
I had a bad time at Mom and Om's farm?
Yes.
I don't know. I remember that whole family was really pleasant. I thought that was a great time.
So, do you not recall eating poisonous herbs, losing all of your hair, and vomiting and hallucinating for 7 days?
Oh, that. Well, yeah, that led to something quite bad, yes. But I don't know. I thought Mama's Noms was pleasant for the most part.
Unusual response. Another question that came to mind sometime afterwards is, when we were at Mom and Om's, you had every right and opportunity to just leave. Why didn't you run away when you could?
I think that was one of the first times I realized that something I did just to hurt somebody was hurting somebody else. And I regretted it, and I needed to make up for it. I don't know. I still want to hurt my mother, but I think that was the one time I realized I had gone too far. Just seeing how it hurt Bata really gave me pause.
Arden frowns. Anybody else?
I mean, you're always unhappy? Like,
Yes, that is true. I am fairly unhappy.
I mean, sorry, I know it affected you, but it was near and dear to Bata, like his whole thing. Look, we're getting into the fact that you're blaming me for something that you really wanted to do, and I don't need to dredge up that whole thing again.
Arden blinks a few times. I suppose that's not a good thing to talk about, I guess. I guess on a lighter note, that's also when we were given Zaus, for lack of a better term. What did you think about all that?
Don't think I wanted him around at first, but he's a pretty good kid. And since we were saddled with him, I figured he might as well get the best treatment he possibly can. And I think everybody deserves a chance. I think everybody deserves a good shot at learning things, making mistakes. I don't know. I really have grown to like the kid. I'm glad that all happened.
Yep. Yeah, I was not at all ready for that, and she didn't seem to really want to keep her own son, which kind of concerned me, but I'm pretty happy. I would have liked more warning and preparation, but yeah, and I think they'll grow into a fine person if we manage to survive this.
Yeah, I think so.
That we'll survive this?
That he'll be a good person.
We're not going to live?
Therrin doesn't answer.
And I guess the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is sometime after Mom and Om's, we did have the encounter with the Umbra, where it tried to, well, kind of turn into a monster and fly away with you after failing to impersonate you on top of the wagon. And that was a very tense moment. What was that like for you?
It was exciting. It's all kind of a blur. All I knew is that thing had to be stopped. I don't really remember all of the details.
Yeah, it did pound your head into the ground pretty hard. So I understand how some of the details might be a little unclear.
I got it pretty good too.
You did. And I suppose you weren't necessarily conscious at the time, but I took a big risk to make sure that it would leave you alone, and it worked, and it got away. But I know that you say that I'm unhappy with you all the time, but that was a reminder that I'm not afraid to stick my neck out for you.
What did you exactly do?
I threatened to destroy the dragon's tear to get it to leave you alone, and it took a very, very close swing at me that likely would have killed me outright, and it missed, luckily, and we were able to resolve things.
Therrin leans back and smirks and crosses her arms. Would you have destroyed the tear?
If I had to.
Huh.
It was mostly a gamble, but I think destroying the tear probably would have been more important than you dying.
I don't know if that would have been the best thing to do, but that's interesting.
But yeah, that was a difficult moment for me, and I'm glad that it worked out. But I do care, and I do want to see you succeed and live, despite your interpretations of my actions. And anyway, moving on.
Therrin leans forward with a devilish grin. Arden, are you, do you want me to thank you for this?
That's enough. That's.
I appreciate it, she says with her, arches her eyebrows up, smiling, and then leans back.
You were probably terrible in interrogations, weren't you?
It didn't capture me much.
Well, thank you, just the same. Let's see. Moving on. Oh, yes, your sister. What was that pet name you had for her? Crabigale?
Therrin rolls her eyes.
Hagagale? Stabagale. That's what it was. I was not expecting to see her on a smuggling vessel in the middle of the swamp, of all places. Actually headed exactly where we were headed. But anyway, what do you think about your encounter with your sister?
I think she's a talentless hack, and she's only going to be as good as Mother's going to let her. I don't think about her that often, actually. She went through the same stuff I did, but she could have chosen to defy Mother. I have almost no respect for her.
That was fairly apparent by the fist fight.
Okay, I do think about her sometimes.
How so?
I wish she would have stopped Mother from doing all the stuff she did. I was hoping for a confidant, and she was for a while, and then at some point I had to realize that she was never going to be my peer or my equal. So I just drew a line in the sand at some point and said, you're just another person who I know very well, but means nothing to me.
Well, I guess she stood as a shining example of what you never wanted to be then.
No, I think I would have been better than her if I was in her place, so I never really thought about it that way.
That's fair. Do you think we'll run into her again when we're down in Roqueport?
If we do, she's just another pawn, just like anybody else in any other port that's owned by PTC. She's just like any other drone.
Interesting. And do you think contractually writing yourself out of the family is going to put you in any sort of danger when we get to Roqueport?
I think I'd be in danger in Roqueport regardless of what had happened then with that contract. And frankly, I don't care.
Why?
I do not regret signing that thing, one iota.
Well, okay. Do you at least care about your safety?
I definitely don't try to fall off things, if that's what you're asking.
That's good. That's a good...
I don't get why you're laughing here.
Oh, no reason. It's just you don't care about falling off of things, and it's an incredibly your response to be more concerned about falling off the railing versus, I don't know, a rich trading company's arsenal of murderous thugs.
Again, in my line of work, I would say it's a bit risky. Like swim up to a ship by yourself and figure, this is going to be safe.
I have not much experience in raiding other ships. But I will take your word on that.
I'm sure you do just fine.
Well, tactically speaking, the first order of business would probably be to punch a hole in the side of their hull at the sea level to flood their lower decks and watch them sink.
See, I wish I'd had you there. Trust me, it's a lot harder just trying to, like, sneak around everywhere.
Oh, well,
Although hopping around is really fun.
yes, it is. I wonder if you jump more than you walk sometimes. But it's an impressive sight, I suppose, as somebody less physically capable.
That you are.
Arden frowns again.
And Therrin is thoroughly chuckling.
Moving on. After we got done with the festival, we encountered a friend of yours, a former friend. I apologize. This Reginald fellow. Who was he?
Therrin sinks into her chair a little bit. That's hard to convey. He is the first person I've encountered in my adult life that really embraced what I wanted to be and what I didn't want to be. And I would have done anything for him because he was the first one to see me for me, and I needed that. I needed someone to see me. And I'm not sure I appreciate the path he took me on, but it was fun. I learned a lot. I don't know why, but our relationship was tainted by my mother yet again, and that hurt so much because I really needed someone like Reginald, and he wasn't what I needed in the long run. And he is very dear to my heart, but he also hurt it. It's very, very complicated. Look, not to bring up the bad stuff, the reason I did not appreciate you kind of instructing me how to honor him was because my feelings about him are so conflicted that I didn't know whether to honor him or whether to be glad to be rid of him, if that makes sense. I'm still almost offended that you almost forced that upon me, but I get it. I get it now.
You simply seem to care about him, and I thought you would want to say something nice.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah, that's understandable. I had no idea what he meant to you, and what Munis did to him was vulgar. I know you really weren't willing to accept it at the point in time, but at least from where I'm from, I grew up in Kalinstas, far to the south. It's one of the most insulting and vulgar things you can do to not let the dead stay dead. And the order teaches us that necromancy is fervently forbidden, and what Munis did to Reginald just to manipulate you was wrong.
Yeah, but that doesn't feel vulgar to me. Like, anybody you're against is going to always do their utmost to do something against you. Like, I don't get vulgarity, the stuff that, in that sense, the vulgarity to me is the stuff that Reginald did to me. It's the stuff that I fear you or Bata or anybody on the ship is going to do to me. So, I'm sorry I don't understand, like, your level of vulgarity, but
that didn't anger you that he put false life into your dead friend to trick you?
it didn't anger me that, because I expect that.
So the last thing that I do want to talk to you about, since it was brought up, is the funeral. I just talked to Bata about it, and I realized when I was talking to him that I shouldn't apologize to him for the outburst that I had. I should be apologizing to you for the way I behaved. I know I didn't understand your situation with Reginald, but I had lost somebody I loved a great deal about, and I didn't understand why you were acting the way you did, and I have done a lot to protect you because I destroyed myself, my career, my body, just to prove a point, and I failed utterly, and I was reckless and stupid, and acted without care. And I do see that in you, and it does concern me. But I should not have done what I did or said what I did. And my behavior was vastly unacceptable. And you probably don't care that much, and I understand, but I am sorry.
Therrin pauses, doesn't answer. Visibly, you can see her breathing a little harder, trying to choke back a tear, and just simply utters a, "Okay, thank you."
Yeah.
That
wasn't-
Can this be done?
I guess. I suppose.
Thank you.
That wasn't so hard, was it?
She wipes something away from her eyes. She's like, "Well, I wouldn't say this was like eating cake or balancing on the bow of the ship, but this was interesting."
I was actually referring to the thank you.
Therrin rolls her eyes and starts walking out. Almost at the door, she turns around and says, "Arden, one thing,"
Yes?
and not looking at you either. "Why do you keep reminding people that I'm a criminal?"
Habit, I suppose. I use your criminal record and your bounty as a means of extorting you into compliance. And while I do not necessarily believe that you are a bad person, it seems to push your buttons in the right way. But I will endeavor to be kinder in the future. It's a hard habit to break. I have not consorted with many unlawful people, admittedly. In fact, originally when I was with the Shepherds before I got moved after the accident to the Scribes, I was primed for taking care of people like you. But I realized that you are not your criminal record, you are a person. And while I don't agree with your methods and necessarily your behavior or attitude, I think that you are a good person deep down and that there is potential in you. I have a hard time getting over my perceptions of people and things, and I just need some time to process everything. You've done admirably for a wanted criminal, and I'm sure if it ever comes to trial or anything like that, I will happily stand before the courts and advocate for your decency as a person.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's funny that I did not assume that's why you were doing it. I thought you were doing it to hurt me, but it's just manipulation, which reminds me of somebody. And as she walks away and down the hallway, but mad props for that.
Arden frowns one last time.
Remember when I dropped the D20 and it made a sound? In that moment, Zaus had heard enough and decided to leave Therrin and Arden to their conversation with a degree of contentness in their heart, as they had been spying. Shocking. They had also noticed that a particular courier had nowhere to be seen. Decided they would make it their personal mission to go find them. It does not take Zaus long to find a morose figure below deck where large amounts of alcohol are stored, and they poke their head around the corner quietly to observe whom they assume might be their companion. What they did not realize in their search for Sam was that they were also being followed.
Dun dun dun.
By a rather large, admirable bear.
That's me.
It's a me.
Bata.
I'm a Bata.
Sam is sitting on a barrel, not consuming the alcohol. It's just where it's stored for the crew because they like to drink. But in one paw, he has a bracelet and is staring at it and not moving.
Bata, you notice it would likely be easy to approach Zaus in their current focused state.
I'm not going to sneak up on him. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
They're very focused on whatever they're looking at. And because it's around a corner, you can't see what it is.
Hey, Sauce, what are you looking at? What you got over there?
Shh. I'm spying on Sam.
Bata leans close to Zaus. Why are you spying on Sam?
They look sad.
Why do you think he looks sad?
I don't know. He's staring at some jewelry. Maybe he's embarrassed to wear it.
I guess that's possible, yeah. Maybe
Maybe we should be good friends and go tell him.
to encourage him to wear it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily what's going on, Zaus.
Maybe he's an international jewel thief.
Oh, hello, Mr. Renshaw.
More and more people are climbing up at this corner.
Mr. Renshaw, why are you sneaking up behind me? Zaus, think we should go make sure Sam's okay?
Yes. Best way we can as their dear friends. Zaus makes a hide check and immediately steps on a wine bottle and shatters it
What?
in the
Zaus?
darkness of the hold.
Zaus needs first aid.
Zaus, are you
Yeah,
okay?
so there's a there's a loud crunching, shattering sound. So Sam immediately stuffs the bracelet in his pocket and goes to check out the noise.
Just kill
And
Zaus on a
it-
bottle of
it-
wine?
Zaus takes 4 damage.
And it looks like Zaus's paw now has a bunch of shards of glass stuck into the bottom of it. Sam looks very surprised briefly.
They look in your direction with big, watery eyes.
Yes.
Help me!
Bata's just gonna pick up Zaus.
No, and it's just,
Oh, God.
Sauce. You'll be okay.
Just don't look at it. Don't panic.
Help!
Nope.
So
Fine.
the Sam will rush forward and see Zaus's injury and immediately put a monkey's paw on the little rat's foot and do a little incantation and cast a touch of Cure Light Wounds.
While the body appears to be in better condition, the glass is very much intact. And Zaus looks up
It is...
with little pleading eyes.
Having glass in your foot is still an injury. It came out. It's magic.
Who is Sam saying that to?
The gods of magic.
His therapist 3 years from now.
Sam, is this how it's supposed to work?
No. So
Bata only has 4 points in healing. I don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's enough or not.
It's better than 0.
yeah, it's better than nothing.
I don't have any tools.
I think you should just pull the glass out.
Thank you, Therrin.
Thank you, Dr. Therrin.
Do you have any good heal checks I had? Like miraculous?
I wasn't planning on doing surgery. Okay, let's just.
Roll a heal check, Bata. Zaz's care is in your hands. You gingerly, but carefully, remove the glass. And then they reach their foot up in your direction, Sam. Pleadingly.
Anything for the boy.
Okay, so now there's big holes where glass used to be. So we'll go ahead and just do the little incantation again and cast another light wound cure. It was a 4.
Let's see.
You
+3.
successfully heal their wounds. And they hug you.
Except now there's blood all over the floor.
Yes.
And then I say, Zaus, why were you down here?
Didn't see you anywhere else, and I already saw everyone else.
Sam will hug Zaus softly and tell him to stop opening all the windows on the ship. Zaus, stop opening all the windows on the ship.
You saw me doing that?
I have been closing them all and watched you open them.
I thought they were just closing on their own with the wind.
Wait, was that you who made all the creaks in the windows earlier?
Yes.
Zaus, are you spying on me and Mr. Renshaw?
They raise their finger as if they're going to have an amazing thing to say, and then try to run up past you.
With the limp. Oh my god.
Well, Sam would let him go because he's asking what happened between you and Arden.
Bata's just gonna grab Zaus, carry him under the arm, because I assume he can't really walk too well right now anyways.
They're not going to resist you.
I'm gonna have a talk with this boy, Sam. I believe Mr. Renshaw might want to have a word with you as well.
It's like, oh, the same kind of word he had with you?
Maybe not exactly the same kind of word.
Sam tilts his head, confused, and tries to remember where Arden's room was. Looks a little anxious, but does make his way to the stairs to get to the orlop deck, to then continue upward
Oh my god.
to the passenger deck.
You read one nautical manual.
Sam, you will locate the proper location just as you run into Therrin.
Yes. So Therrin bumped into the monkey man and immediately kind of twirled a bit on her 2 dagger shoes, which I assume she still has on.
Of course.
Okay.
So you were clacking down the hallway as you were coming.
Well, yeah.
So it wasn't really a surprise. As you do a twirl and a spin, Sam will cast prestidigitation to make little sparkles around you. Just go, hi, Therrin.
I don't even look at you because I'm still posing with the sparkles. You go, I think Arden wants to ask you some questions.
That sounds scary if it's...
Are you in pain?
Yeah, like, what's this tone?
No, it's hard to keep this pose.
You could... The sparkle stopped. You can stop now.
Therrin relaxes. Therrin leans in, goes make sure to thank him for something. And then
Is he-
walks off.
It's like, is it just turn it like, is he in a mood? What's happening?
I said just thank him for something.
Okay. Sam will tilt his head confused again and continue into Arden's. Actually, he will knock first on Arden's door.
Yes. Come in.
Okay, so Sam opens the door slowly, kind of like out there did. Be like, I heard you wanted to talk to everybody.
Oh, yes. Yes, I did. Come in and sit down, I suppose, Samuel.
So Sam walks in, looks around, and immediately beelines to the window,
It doesn't want to stay closed.
where he pulls out a bunch of rope and forces it closed.
Well, that'll keep it shut.
It's like, yes,
Thank you.
we should keep all hatches secured.
Is that what the rope is for?
It's a rope. What rope are you talking about?
Really?
Okay.
Anyway, yes, I was trying to take documentation on everything that has happened so far because I think it's worthwhile to get a good record and account of everything that's happened so far, if you're willing to take a moment.
Sam stands a little nervously before sitting across from Arden. It's a little bit of a fidget, saying, okay, what do you want to know?
Well, I suppose I don't believe I've gotten a formal introduction from you before, but could you just state your full name and any sort of titles you may have with the couriers?
Really?
Really?
Oh, okay. Name is Samuel M. Horstrom. From Atlas, I suppose. And I am a courier. I don't think I have any official titles or anything right now.
Oh, okay.
Mostly just done work up in the north. It's not very glamorous.
Oh, that's fine. That's fair. I mostly just wanted it because I didn't know you were just a postal worker that met a series of unfortunate events and somehow did not get scared away.
Well, when you travel alone on the road for most of your life, you kind of have to not back down from the many, many things that want you to fail.
Yes. About that, are you okay? You seem tense ever since we've literally set foot off the dock.
Sam will look incredulously at Arden and just, do you not remember what happened on the river?
That's true. I think you said that somebody got snatched away from you right in front of you from the river spiders.
Sam will say, well, no, the river spiders are bad on their own, yes, but the sea spiders tend to be bigger and meaner, so I've been doing my best to stay away from the deck.
Yes, I've noticed. I don't think you've seen sunlight in the last 3 weeks. I have concern that you may be ill or possibly a vampire.
That would be cool, but no.
I don't believe undeath is cool in any facet.
A novel version of a vampire.
Right. Beautiful, long, flowing hair.
Sparkle.
Sparkly. Yes, yes. I haven't done many shifts as official shift mate, ship mage or anything, but it seems fairly calm out there, so you're probably safe to go outside. Whatever you're most comfortable with, I suppose, in that regard. Just, we'll try to keep you safe.
If there's any experience I've had with the sea, it's that calm is relative and can change at the snap of a finger.
Well, that was grim. But yes, it's true. It never hurts to be cautious. I can certainly attest to that. I suppose I didn't really know you prior to you showing up on Mom and Mom's doorstep. Do you mind telling me about what it's like to be a courier?
Up in the north, it's mostly a lot of solitude. The villages are small and far apart, but that also means the roads are a little safer than you would think, most if just because the value that moves on them isn't particularly high.
So little bandit attacks and all those other various stories and adventures where you heard of legions of monsters and whatnot raiding these caravans is a little exaggerated for that area.
Mostly exaggerated, but when you get closer to the big cities, obviously that becomes a less of an exaggeration and more of a retelling. But I avoided the big cities as much as I could, if only to, I'll admit, stay away from people. It wasn't because I hated anybody or anything. I just wanted to be on my own.
I have found in recent events that I do not care for solitude as much as I thought I did.
I agree with that.
Well, good. I'm glad we're not upsetting you more than we probably already have, but
No, it's been nice being part of a group again.
well, that's good. I don't necessarily speak for everyone, I'm sure, but we are very happy to have you along.
Well, thank you, Arden.
Are you happy, Therrin?
She's like, the tip of her tail vanishes from the door.
Told ya!
Moving on. So, had you done much work for Mom and Dom's? Had you delivered stuff for her prior to encountering us?
Only occasionally. There's some mail from the village and the inn and some of the family, but by and large, I only went a couple times a year. It was actually very surprising arriving in such a big group, other than the kids being there. I'm not quite sure what happened, actually.
What do you mean?
Well, Zaus is here, and I'd never seen Mama Noms give up one of her kids before.
I've never seen a woman give up her kid so willingly.
And especially asking me to take care of him, which I guess meant all of us at this point.
Yes, indeed.
But no, normally it was just business. Just arrive, deliver, get money, go.
Okay. Well, I guess it's pretty standard fare. You seem to have some sort of rapport with her when we arrived, and she certainly knew who you were, so I wasn't sure if you had a relationship.
No, Arden. I am not Mr. Noms.
That's not what I meant at all. But it would explain why she entrusted Zaus to you.
I don't know. That's an oddity. At first, it was just sort of an odd job, but a job nonetheless. But that was a while ago now, and it definitely feels more like I kind of want to help, not just take the money. And it's a weird sensation after so many years.
But a good one, I hope, at least.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Oh, good.
I'm just sorry. The boat will have rocked slightly, and Sam will tense up. So just being on the ocean's a little nerve-wracking.
Well, you have plenty of time to get over your seasickness.
I don't get seasickness.
You are more pale than Therrin's fur.
Arden, there are terrors in the deep. The water itself doesn't bother me.
I doubt they would be able to make it through this much wood so quickly.
That's why I've been hiding in the cargo.
Well, from a tactical standpoint, if we were to receive a hole in the hull at any point in time, you'd probably be the first to die. So that's probably not the best place to hide. I would probably hide somewhere in the mid decks in the center of the ship.
Oh, okay, Arden.
Yes?
I get where you're coming from. The thing I'm worried about doesn't usually go through the hole. They come up over the side.
Oh, that's fair. I was just thinking pirates or extraordinarily large sea monsters or just another ship mage with a well-placed spell could just... you know what? That's probably not helping.
Not in the way you think, but I appreciate it.
You're welcome, I think.
No, I don't have anything on me, and the boat is not laden with treasures, so I don't foresee much riveting action in our future.
I also wanted to talk to you about that Umbra encounter shortly after we met you. I know you said you hadn't encountered many large things or scary monsters or anything really trying to take your letters from the next town over.
Do you have something against couriers, Arden?
Why do you say that?
Almost every time I talk to you, you call me a mailman or a letterman,
Postal worker?
postal worker.
What?
You know that we deliver more than mail. Family keepsakes, products of merchants, and
Does that not make you a postal worker?
in the sense that we deliver, yes. In the sense that we only give people their post, no.
I apologize. I was not aware that you were so sensitive about your title for somebody who doesn't have a title.
It's not so much I'm concerned about it. It's just you seem to have a distinct impression of my profession that I'd never understood.
I guess in Atlas, things seem to function much differently than they do in the rural world.
I do not miss it.
Well, I can't say I completely agree with that, but it is quiet out here, and I can appreciate that. But there are certain amenities I still miss. But I'm sure Roqueport will have some sort of morally corrupt, downtrodden version of that I can at least pretend to like for a little bit before I get sick of the place.
You mean Therrin?
Wow, that's harsh. No, actually, I was mostly just talking about all the terrible corruption that Therrin has talked about in that town.
It was just a joke, Arden.
Oh, sorry, I'm not good at those. But speaking of which, actually, you did an artful job of answering my Umber question. Did you have anything you'd actually like to state on that? It's fine if you don't want to talk about it, though.
The Umbra, very specifically, now that we know what it is not like anything else I've ever encountered, because with most creatures of the night, as you would put it,
Undead?
monsters,
Ah, yes.
they're very predictable. You can distract them with all sorts of things, sights, smells, food, and make your escape. But the Umbra kind of scares me because it's a little like you, actually.
Arden frowns for half a second.
From what I gather, it is always calculating.
It is very singularly driven and motivated, and I was taught from the moment I was inducted into the order to always think of a strategy. So, yes, I guess I am calculating like an Umbra, but
I didn't mean it as a bad thing. It's just, it's weird to encounter something that has intelligence that can't be persuaded against, although you managed.
I interpreted its needs and demands and came to a compromise that brought us to a goal that we could both agree upon. And truthfully, with it on our side, it will be less likely that we will die attempting to correct this mistake.
I don't like that part. I'm not really sure what I've got caught up in here, but for the moment, you and the others are the closest thing I have to family anymore. So at least for now, even with it somewhere and always following us, I want to be here with you guys.
Well, that's good. We wouldn't have been able to have gotten this far without you. You've pulled us out of some tight spots and, know how to wield an ancient artifact left behind by one of the founding members of the Order.
You talking about that spear you gave me?
Yeah, I don't know how to use a spear. I mean, the sharp end goes in the bad guys, but that's...
It's a spear.
Yes, okay, so I was trained to use complex formulas and incantations to bend the raw energy of the universe to my will, but no, I don't know how to use a spear.
That's fair. I hope you don't do that to me.
Use a spear?
Bend the raw energies of the universe
Oh, no.
at me.
Well, there are protective spells, but yes, I don't intend to turn on you anytime soon. Or
Soon?
Well, perhaps that isn't the best wording.
Sam lightly elbows Arden and gives him a smile.
Okay. Sorry. Moving on. So, you were contracted to deliver that package for Munis that had that flammable paint in it.
That was a terrible, terrible thing, but it's pretty standard for us to not know what the contents of a sealed package are. The person that gave us the job, I had a decent reputation. There was nothing amiss until we started digging into it.
and I didn't really know what we were getting into either, but, I mean, was it what you expected it to be?
It's best in my profession not to expect it to be anything.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It's just a job. I guess with how everything else went, I should have been more cautious.
Yeah, well, we should have all been. That man had a lot of red flags, some literal. But I personally feel like we made a terrible mistake delivering that package.
But at the same time, it's not like I'm not really blaming myself or any of you for it. It was just the next step on the journey, and again, we didn't know what was in it. It was a job.
It was, though part of me wonders if we had at some point failed in delivering that, we could have saved countless lives.
From what I saw outside the spire, I don't think it would have mattered much.
Is that supposed to make me feel better or worse?
Better, I guess. Just trying to say, Arden, that really we just did the best we could at the time, and even if we had somehow messed up that delivery, someone else probably would have just done it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks.
So at least for that, I'm not beating myself up for it, and you shouldn't either.
Yeah, probably not. It's not the first mistake I've made that's hurt people, and I worry that it's not going to be my last sometimes.
Even the best intentions can hurt those we love.
Yes, that's unfortunately very true. Even though I had no idea he was going to be there, I still feel actually pretty responsible for Akuma's death, because of if I hadn't have gone rogue, he wouldn't have come to the Spire to meet me for reasons and fought Munis, and all of that petrification and failed resurrection and everything wouldn't have happened.
I can't pretend to know if anything would have been different, but the way Munis was talking was that anyone would have died had they crossed his path.
Well, I'd rather it have been me than him.
It was going to be. It sounds like you're treating it like it's your fault he died, but have you considered that he saved you?
Yeah, it's true. He did.
He chose to save you instead of himself, and I'm not big on the magic stuff, clearly, but it definitely seemed like Akuma was the kind of guy to, or at least could have saved himself, and yet, again, chose to save you, chose to give you his spell book. He believed in you.
Yeah, he did.
Sam will give Arden a hug.
Arden returns the embrace. Well, thank you, Sam. I haven't had a lot of people care for me, so I worry that I'm not necessarily worthy of that kind of sacrifice.
Sam will look at him with a confused head tilt for the third time today and say, well, Arden, you were the only one that stopped the Umbra from killing everyone in a horrible fashion. You were the only one to figure out how to ask the Guardian of the Spire all those questions so we know what's going on. You were the only one to bring this group together, from what I understand.
I suppose.
Bata clearly likes you. You keep Therrin nearby. At this point, we all could have parted ways, I think, but we chose not to.
It's true.
Because of what we discovered and because of, honestly, what you've said and done, because we wouldn't be here without you either. So don't beat yourself up too hard, because you've done amazing things that I could only ever dream of.
Well, you're here too.
Through a series of events, as you put it.
But yeah, I guess I was taught to do the right thing and to look after people, and I don't know. Not a lot of people really acknowledged it. So it's good to hear that. So,
because it sounds like we're all in this together now. And whether or not you consider yourself part of the group or just the guy trying to do the right thing, I at least like having you around.
Arden turns through a fresh page in his book and writes that in big bold letters.
And then pulls it up to the window.
Well, I guess considering everything that's happened, what do you think about the journey so far?
I don't understand a lot of it, how I came to be here, because like you say, I'm just a mailman from the northern swamps who somehow got swept up with Zaus, with this Umber thing, with the dragon steer, with Therrin, with Bata, the
What are
bear
you doing
bear.
with Bata?
What?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. The barbarian, and for a long, long time, I felt like all I could do in the world was deliver mail. But now I feel like I have a chance to really make a difference with something, because even if I don't fully understand what's going on or the implications of what's going on or why all these people are after this thing or what really is going to go down when we reach Roqueport, I think for the first time in a long time, I'm just happy being part of it.
Well, good. I'm sure this isn't going to be easy, but I don't want you here against your will. You seem like a good person, and we literally drug you into this.
Are you going to give me back those stems, by the way?
I'm sorry. We're having a moment, and you want drugs.
You did say to drug me into it. Sam will give him another
Arden frowns.
another elbow nudge and smile.
I will work on this casual humor thing. I make no promises, but I will do my best.
So sorry, humor is a way I relieve stress.
I don't know how to relieve stress.
That's evident.
You didn't have to think about that for a moment.
See, you're getting it now. Keep working on it.
Well, I guess that's all I needed from you, unless you have anything else you want to talk about.
Has anyone asked you how you're doing?
No, I suppose nobody really has directly.
Sorry, being on the ocean makes me a little sentimental.
I'm managing. I had the closest thing I have to a father currently die in front of me, only to find that he had been mutilated to bring him back, and then have him not be entirely there. I found out that the organization that I had dedicated my life to from a young age is lying for unknown reasons, and that it has association with terrible monster of people like Munis, and I don't know what to think. I'm honestly scared about everything. I'm glad that I have you guys here with me. I wouldn't have been able to do this without you, but I have a goal to return the Dragon's Tear to Roqueport, but I don't know if we'll live to see that through or what we'll have to give up to make that happen. And what I'm going to do after that, I don't know. I don't have a plan for that. I don't know if I should go back to the Order. I don't know if I should just go into hiding. I hear Bismutoon is nice, but
Eyebrow raised.
But it's a lot right now, and I look forward to this little bit of quietness that we have on the sea so that I can collect myself and be ready for the next difficult leg of my life.
I know what it's like to lose someone very close, not in the same sense that you did, and I'm sorry. We all tried our best that day, but nothing will change what happened. But I can, if you want, after all this is said and done, I can go back to Atlas with you. My family's still there, and many of my childhood friends, and I don't necessarily know what they're doing now, but I do know that I will have ways to help if you really wanted to dig deep into the Order and figure things out and maybe make some change. And I promise you that if you wanted to do that, I will be there with you.
Well, I don't know if that's the right path for me right now. And for all I know, with sending off my research, for all I know, I could be wanted for what happened to Akuma, as we are the sole witnesses for it. So the Order may come looking for me potentially, regardless of whether or not I go back to the Order. And if they take me, I'll do my best to tell the truth. But I don't know if they'll listen.
It'll probably help to have the spear.
It probably would, but I think it's better in your hands.
Okay. Thank you again.
No problem. If worse comes to worse, though, and things do get bad, we can trade in that spear for like a scroll of plane shift or something like that. The city of Brass is very lovely at this time of the year, and ain't nobody gonna bother us there.
Was that a joke?
It was an escape plan.
If you say so.
But still, I think it's probably best that spear stay in the hands of somebody who knows how to use it effectively. And if they come for me specifically, it's better you keep the truth in your hands than the whole thing getting snuffed out. Because
I will keep it safe.
There are statues of the person holding that spear all over the continent.
Okay, then should we be attempting to maybe conceal it?
No, replicas exist.
Okay.
That's just definitely the real one. There's enough magic flowing through it to easily prove its worth.
All right. Well, again, if you ever want to go back to Atlas, I'm willing to do that with you.
I will consider it, and I greatly appreciate the offer. A lot weighs on how returning the dragon's tear goes, but hopefully we can all make it out alive and well.
We'll do our best.
Yep,
Just like we have been.
absolutely.
Thanks for sitting down and having this chat.
And thank you for talking to me.
I needed someone to talk to for a little bit.
Well, if you need me, you know where to find me. I'm always willing to listen.
But what I'm starting to learn, I think, is that the future is not set.
It's not, and it's scary. I can't plan for everything, but I'm sure we'll make it through.
Me too. Sam gives Arden another brief hug, stands up, and starts to walk away.
Take care, Sam.
I'll do my best until we're at port. And walks out.
As Sam leaves the chamber, they immediately encounter two of their friends, possibly having been eavesdropping on the conversation. The friends
Hi,
were
Bata.
Zaus and Bata.
Hi, Bata.
Hi, Sam. How's it going?
Zaus waves at you.
How much did you hear?
What?
Arden waves at Bata from the other end of the room.
Are we in doorway? Are we visible to Mr. Renshaw?
Spot check.
Zaus says, I told you we should back up just a little bit. It's too late now, though.
So this was your idea.
Yes?
It's okay.
We should separate the two of you.
What?
What? It's so much fun to be around Bata.
But, we have to have a conversation, Mr. Sauce.
It'll be fine. It's fine. You just drop me in the room and it'll be fine.
So you've already hurt yourself once today. Just be careful.
He's going to walk in, drop Sauce off, gently, somewhere, I don't know what's in the room. What? A chair? Gently on the chair. Boom.
Just right into...
Hello, Arden.
Hello. I guess we
I have to answer questions, don't I?
I had not intended to speak to you, but we can. And apparently Bata thinks you need to, so we probably should.
Oh, you need to teach him a lesson about eavesdropping on people.
You were right next to him.
I was making sure that he understood why I was wrong.
He was chaperoning.
Also, he stabbed his foot,
That
so...
we call that an accomplice in legal terms.
I was not listening. I was not paying attention.
Zaus is smiling with the most innocent look they can manage.
Right. Okay. Well, I suppose we probably should talk. And I've talked with everybody else, so let's hear what you have to say.
But Bata, you'd mentioned not wanting to eavesdrop. It'd be a great time to let us have a conversation together.
Oh, Bata's still in the room.
Arden raises a brow.
What? Oh, yeah. Hey, Sam.
What's up from down the hallway?
Let's get some food. Bata just walks away.
Close the door behind you, please.
The galley it is.
Kicks the clothes, yeah.
I'm sure Therrin would have done the same thing. It's good to see you, Zaus. Could you do me a favor? And the first thing I want to know is something that has been bothering me for a little bit, but I want the record set straight. Is it Zaus, Zaus, Zaus? You haven't corrected anybody, but everybody says it differently.
They go from being tense to relaxed and lean back in the chair and let their tail fall off the side and legs go slack and put their arms down on their knees and lean in. Those are all my titles. I accepted them with love.
Arden struggles for a second. So, all of those are correct names?
Yes. They're all correct names.
Interesting. Okay. Well,
I don't have a birth certificate.
not many people do in the rural areas. I suppose you're probably the wrong person to ask how that's spelled.
I'm still learning.
Okay, no worries. We'll get back to that later, I guess.
Yes.
So I really hadn't prepared much for you, but I am curious, since we did kind of just barge our way into your life, and your mother gave us your life. What was it like on your mother's farm?
Mom was really busy all the time. She relied on me to kind of raise all my siblings.
Yes.
Like I said, she wanted to focus on work, and I ended up spending a lot of time with my siblings. I didn't really do much else.
Interesting. Did you have any fun?
Zaus looks down at the floor, contemplating it. I had happy moments when people treated my siblings well, and that meant they had to learn things, which means when they learned things and they did well, it made me happy.
Okay, that's a pretty honest response.
We played games, but that's...
Yes, you did.
Their eyes nervously dart around. I think some of the most fun I had was with playing with you.
Oh.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time helping raise my siblings.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad we could bring some light to your life. I mean, was it always like that? I mean, your mother had mentioned your father at some point.
Somebody had to give her us. I don't know who they are or how many there are, but I don't remember ever seeing one.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't mean to ask a difficult question there. I apologize if that was harsh.
What is it like in having a dad?
I have not seen my father since I was 11 years old. I was inducted to the order at a younger age than you, and I had spent the entire time in the order. The closest thing I had to a father was Akuma, the older bird wizard who
Died.
Yes.
Is that how they raise people over there?
What do you mean?
I mean, I was really stressed, and I always had to think about how my siblings would see me doing things and who was watching, but it kind of sounds like you were really lonely.
I was not treated very fairly because of my age and my size, and I did not really have any real friends, and I guess I did also have to put on an appearance for everyone to show that I was not struggling, so much so that I hurt myself very badly, just to prove a point that ultimately didn't matter. And I don't think that's right, but I don't think that's how everybody's childhood was like. I've heard from other people in the order or just around Atlas that they had real families and families that got along and such. And I'm sure if I had never been inducted into the order, I'd still be hemming cloaks and robes for my parents back in Kalinsas, living a nice, quiet life with nothing but a prick on the end of the finger to worry about.
Even in a place like Atlas where everybody's wealthy, they expect you to smile even when you don't feel like it?
Not everybody's wealthy. It's better than Roqueport. But what you read about in the stories or you see in the paintings isn't real. People have lives. Everybody's different. I mean, we're different. I mean, Bata's completely different than the rest of us. Therrin's
Therrin's a fun mess.
she's a mess, all right. And Sam worries a lot, but he cares, and we've all come from different things, and that's the way we are. It doesn't sound like you had the best childhood, and I'm sure we're not helping much with that either, but we do care about you. I've never, I've never considered wanting a son, but you're probably the closest thing that I'll ever have.
I get why.
Oh,
They look at you quizzically.
Arden gets a concerned look on their face.
Well, I can say that scratch their head and kind of look half away, half towards. I feel like I can be the most free with all of you. And so I really appreciate being around everybody. I love my family, but maybe part of the reason Mom let me go is she knew that I was doing all the raising work and I wasn't having a childhood anyway, by the sounds of it.
I can certainly understand that feeling, and I mean, you have not been easy to take care of.
You're welcome.
That's not the answer. Anyway,
I feel like it's something Therrin would have said.
it is something that Therrin has lived. But I think it's good. I admittedly at this point may not ever get you to the order like I promised your mother, but you seem better where you are now. I do not know what I'd do if harm were to come to you, or how many lives I'd have to destroy to make it right. But I'm going to do my best to make sure you're okay.
Thanks.
It's difficult. And maybe once all this is done with Roqueport, we can find a place for you, or come with me to Atlas, or go up to Bismutoon, or...
Bismutoon sounds fun.
It does. I think it would be a nice change of scenery. I'm very ready for the simple life.
As Arden holds Sam's.
I need an adult.
It's okay. He's sulking in the lower decks. He doesn't even hear it.
Bata wanted to go to the galley together.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're sulking over a bowl of slop. Together.
Yeah, make his dream come true and say like, I always want to go to Bismutoon and live in a bed and breakfast.
They can't just drop that on them right now.
But yeah. It's been a lot these past couple weeks, and I'm ready for it to be over and for us to hopefully move on in life and do something better.
What's better?
Peace.
I understand. Look at you with like a knowing look, like they might have figured something out that they probably inquisitive.
Arden once again gives a concerned look.
They snicker.
I guess considering everything that we've been through so far, I know you've been in some situations that were quite harrowing. And the first time we ran into that Umbra, you got in a kind of a scary position. And what we may encounter further down in Roqueport may be even more dangerous than that. Are you okay coming with us?
They put their paw onto their neck. Yep, I feel all right. They checked their pulse.
That isn't exactly what I asked. Are you concerned? Are you upset? Are you scared?
If I think about it, I will be. But if I jump right in, then we can just start handling it.
Oh, fucking Therrin. Such a bad influence.
Somewhere, Therrin gets a tingle on the back of her neck, and she just wiggles.
With a smile.
I mean, if I spent too much time worrying about everything that was happening with my siblings and what we might or might not do, I don't know how helpful that is.
I thrive on thinking about everything to make sure it doesn't happen, but knowing Therrin, I have learned that there is some a degree of bliss and spontaneity.
When you get really worried, your eyes kind of get dark and you don't sleep as good. Kind of worries everybody.
I don't think I could stop worrying.
Mom told me something about Dad. She said he got too comfortable in his pain, and it became his safe space. I don't fully get it, but...
This kid's coming up with this shit. Wait. Do you want to just punch me in the gut, you little turd? Or just rip the heart out?
Well, I mean, even if I did, you always seem to be most at peace when you're hanging out with Bata.
So there's the rip the heart out.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is like fucking kids like angling at me in a weird way. I'm not sure about this, but...
Like, Therrin always pisses you off. I admit it's kind of fun to do it every once in a while. I get it.
So it's deliberate. That's what you're saying. It's deliberate.
A happy side effect of spontaneity. Maybe you'll join in with us sometime.
Maybe. It's a hard thing to break. I don't think I'm necessarily comfortable like this. I've just spent so long working like this. It's what I was taught to do.
Oh, that's why you've never... Okay.
Never what?
Well, like, if the way they raise kids over there is, like, lonely, maybe how you were taught was part of that.
I hadn't considered that.
I kind of always had to consider things like that with my siblings, so I tried to think about, like, they kind of needed to see me do the right things, and I don't think I always did, but I tried to reinforce stuff.
When stuff matters, it makes a difference in the long run.
There's also a chance my mom just saw a great opportunity to send me out into the world, and then I'd maybe become rich and then just shower the family with gifts, but...
Well, that's true. That's the grand dream of adventuring is to go plunder a dungeon or a lost spire and find some wondrous thing and hawk it for enough money to retire off of.
I don't think I want to go back anytime soon. I feel like if I go home, the dream's going to die.
That's grim.
I've been trying to read more books.
Well, still...
Reading people's more fun, though.
It has its ups and downs. I read people from a logical standpoint, but I keep finding that I don't understand people emotionally, and it's a strange spot.
That does sound hard.
It does. And it is. And actually, on the topic of things we don't understand, so back when we were traveling, some strange things happened to you.
Whatever do you mean?
Getting visibly taller within course of a couple hours, melting a hole through the bottom of the wagon.
It had a lot of holes already. It's fine.
No, it wasn't.
Geez, Sam, don't listen in on this stuff.
This isn't because of what I said earlier, is it? Sometimes if you talk about other people's stuff, you don't have to talk about yours.
Oh, well, no, it's mostly... so there are, generally speaking, a couple different types of people that know magic. People like me that learned it through exhaustive study. People like a druid that would get it through spiritual beliefs granted by some sort of divine entity, and people that do it naturally.
Like me.
Yeah. I most everybody within the order is a learned caster, and a few divine casters, but we have very few people that can do it naturally. And
Eunice told me why.
Eunice is a terrible person, and
they said they dissect people like me.
I don't know if that's true, and which is why I never want you to go anywhere near the order, honestly, because I like you better in one piece. And
I appreciate that. I do feel really safe around everybody. I feel like if I went home, I'd eventually just see Munis on my doorstep. And he scares me a lot.
Arden frowns with a deep concern and shifts in his chair, sitting a little more tensely. I hope that we never see Munis again. And if we do, I have a plan in place to hopefully deal with him. But I will not let him lay a hand on any of you. And if he does, I will truly make him suffer for what he did.
That makes me feel a little better. I hope we never see him again, too. But you had a question, right? A question.
Yeah. Do you feel any differently after these changes?
The way the magic feels, it feels like I can reach out and like pull things that aren't a part of my body and make them do things. Feels complicated, kind of like talking to somebody and getting them to understand what you really want them to understand. It's like communicating without words, but like something hard, like taxes. Or that person back at the festival I kind of tried to ask out.
I can't make assumptions as to how you do that.
Poorly.
As somebody who does magic through formulas and incantations, it's very complex. I studied for years to even cast my first spell, and it takes...
Sounds like you're carving a statue out of, like, rocks.
Sort of. As the son of a tailor, I always saw it as more like cutting a piece of fabric and making it into a shirt. You have to take the raw pieces and fold them to make what you want, and then put it all together.
I guess if I think about it that way, it's kind of like I want to take threads and weave something together with all of them, whatever's available. But it's always going to have a piece of me in it.
Well, I can never achieve that, so that's something to be proud of. I mean, not everybody can do that. I certainly can't.
They're contemplative. Za's looking down, thinking. Did something else come to mind, Arden?
Oh, I guess as long as we're talking about difficult things.
The smirk.
Yes. So when we went into the spire, you said you were haunted by, like, some sort of spirit that, I think it was Therrin, that was, like, punching you and kicking you.
Their eyes dart around searching for an answer. I don't think I really understood what was going on at the time.
Well, neither did
I still don't.
Yeah, it was a strange time.
It did seem like those of us with some kind of magical talent were affected differently.
I seem to have been unaffected completely.
I apologize for my previous statement. Your magic is amazing.
This little shit.
I did take a beating in my defense.
Yeah, I felt really helpless to solve that problem, and I'm sorry I couldn't really help you. As I keep saying, I don't want any harm to come to you, and I didn't know what to do, so I am sorry for that.
I didn't know either.
Yeah,
But it's a good thing we had everybody else.
it was. I wouldn't have been able to make it out there without the rest of them, but I just worry about things like that might happen again, and
Isn't it worse to freeze up thinking about it than just do the best we can in the situation?
yes.
I mean, we probably should prepare because as much fun as Therrin is,
They're probably up front balancing on the front of the ship, aren't they?
She's going to fall in the ocean and break her neck on the hull of the ship and die.
Then get eaten by spiders.
And then get eaten by spiders. Thank you, Sam, who is eating slop several rooms away.
I feel like if you were really worried she'd fall off, you'd already tell her to get off.
She wouldn't listen.
You're stubborn, though.
So is she.
Mm-hmm. That's why you two fight so much. That and you're bad at communicating.
She just doesn't do what I say.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This is couples therapy now.
At least that's what it seems like when everybody else watches.
Yeah. I'm used to compliance in my orders, but I guess not everybody is so, compliant.
Wait a minute. So you mean back where you grew up, you did exactly what you were told, or you got punished?
I'm sorry?
Well, the only time my mom ever mentioned compliance was when she was ranting and raving about the big cities and being told to do things there that she didn't want to.
Well, as I said before, everybody's lives are different. And
You look very stressed right now.
I am.
I know it might make you feel better. We haven't had them in a long time, but I think they're one of your favorites, if I remember right, back on the farm.
What?
We just need to ask Bata to make some more of those cakes.
Oh, Bata cakes.
That's what they were.
It has been a long time. That would be nice. But I'm not sure our galley is necessarily equipped to do that.
That's never stopped any of us before, being ill-equipped or unprepared.
That's true, but
And I take pride in that.
that only seems right. I guess there's something to admire in being able to overcome difficult challenges when unprepared.
One of the coolest things you ever did was stop that punch from the Umbra.
That was one of the single most terrifying moments of my entire life. It was a gamble that worked, and if it had worked any better, I'd probably be dead. And who knows how that would have transpired.
It's part of the reason I'm okay taking bigger risks.
I know you mean well, but that is a very uncomforting thing to hear. But yes, and we do appreciate what you have done. You've helped us in both big and small ways, and it matters a lot.
The tail almost wags. You know, whenever I'm kind of feeling a little off or down, I kind of just go hang out with Bata. Like, when I want to figure things out, I go to you or Sam, and when I want to have fun, I go to Therrin. Or, get advice on how to throw a dagger into the side of a wall, or I want to convince her to teach me how to use a ship. I'm going to do it even if you say no.
You mean like captain a vessel?
Yeah, I want to get a fancy hat, and I want to stand up on a crate so I look taller.
Maybe when you can afford your own ship, we will consider that. But until that happens, we're going to have to wait a while.
They're going to narrow their eyes and look at you. Challenge accepted. I'm going to get a boat.
And that's a real boat, and not some pieces of driftwood that you tied together. That's a boat with a mast, a wheel, and a keel.
It needs a title too, doesn't it?
Yes.
Fine.
Because I'm not going to have you fall in the water in the tide and then drown because the raft fell apart.
My name has to be on the title, doesn't it?
Do not steal a ship.
What if it's the bad guy's ship?
Oh my god, it was not...
I'll ask Therrin first. It'll be okay.
Yeah, she's quite skilled in stealing ships, apparently.
She'll know what to do.
Yeah, and she'll teach you how to murder the crew, or slit their throats, or snap their necks, or other monstrous...
They look more and more excited as you describe these things.
No, that's not... Why can't you be scared of anything?
I am scared of something. Besides Munis. I don't want to lose any of you.
Ah, Jesus. No. Of course. Of course. Of course. And it's appreciated. It's a knife in the heart. Twist it. Rip it out. Jab it in again. Deeper.
Sometime after we get out of Roqueport, I'm pretty sure my real birthday's going to come up.
Your birthday? Oh,
My mom's been lying about some things for tax reasons. She told me to be quiet, but just in case anything happens, I figure you should know.
yeah, the secret's safe with me. That's fine. I do not know anything about the taxes in that region, so I will.
They're helped out with a heavy purse under the desk. Pay up front, pay less later, like my mom always says.
Yeah. That's accurate advice. Yes.
Oh, did you want to ask anything else?
You know what? I think we've covered most of it. I think we're good unless there's something you'd like to speak about.
I am feeling a little tense, but I'm kind of glad I was able to talk about this stuff with somebody who is listening.
Yeah, I know Therrin doesn't listen very well.
Like, I feel like Bata would definitely comfort me and stuff. Sam would maybe be like, life is rough, but like tough love. Therrin would be like, don't you worry about that. I got skeletons in my closet too.
Like this one time, there was this guy. I like slit his throat, but he didn't die. It was like such a mess.
I mean, oh, I almost said that. Oh, it's a good thing I said it to you and not to her. Oh boy, skeletons in the closet a lot better than zombies in your tomb.
That is true, I suppose, because I guess skeletons aren't contagious. I don't know.
They're having a little dark humor giggle to themselves.
Am I the only one that remembers that?
Well, if that's all, let's go hang out with Bata and chill out for a bit.
Yeah.
Unless you want me to grab somebody from the crew. They've been looking at us weird this whole time.
Just probably want to know why everybody keeps huddling around my door.
They're also glad I'm not opening the windows anymore. I was challenging myself to keep busy.
Roqueport is going to be a difficult time, so we should just relax as much as we can right now because it's going to be difficult when we get there.
Yep. I've got my dagger here, and 2 over here, and a sword over there. Oh, I was able to get this this cool boot knife. Click, right foot. The merchant I talked to back at the festival, I thought it would make me look cooler. They said, if you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. And they sold daggers and dagger accessories.
Everyone on the table just stares at Therrin.
But
I didn't do it.
I kind of just scared the person I was trying to impress, and then I went and found you guys.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's good to be prepared, I suppose. Just be careful with the knives.
Don't worry, I've been practicing really, really hard. Thought possible memories of all those times they threw daggers at the side of the wagon and other moments might come to mind. And these are the ones you know about.
Yeah, the ones I know about. And I will do my best not to dwell upon that, because I already worry enough as is.
That's the spirit, Arden. Let's go hang out with Bata and Sam and not dwell on stuff.
Oh, well, I guess Sarah's on the boat, too. We should probably invite her, too.
Yeah. I feel like she just doesn't talk about stuff that bothers her.
She's coming around.
They go, oh, and then they go over to the door and they look around.
What's up?
Well, you said she's coming around.
Yes.
And they scamper out the door.
And the ship bursts into flames.
And then Arden curls into a ball on the floor and starts crying. And Therrin cackles.
No, I guess I'll tell you now, just because it's the Umbra is currently a sea spider in the water eating other sea spiders. And that's why you're not getting bothered.
Oh.
It's just munching the whole trip.
The Curse of Karasa is a production of Reno Area Anthropomorphic Arts and Recreation for BLFC 2023. This episode was edited by Dejarm's Pony and was mixed and mastered by AJ the Ratty. Yima Quinn is our game master and the voice of Zaus and the NPCs. Arden Renshaw is played by Harkfeather. Therrin Perch is played by Dejarm's Pony. Bata Amaka is played by Dabbles. Samuel Horstrom is played by Domik Kritu. Original music by Fox Amore. You can find more music from Fox Amore at foxamore.bandcamp.com and on Spotify. For more information about BLFC, the theme, and the lore behind your favorite characters and settings, visit goblfc.org.
Help!
Nope.
So
Fine.
the Sam will rush forward and see Zaus's injury and immediately put a monkey's paw on the little rat's foot.
Oh my God, whose is it?
Shut the hell up.